Hello, my name is Miguel M, and welcome to my story about the way I fell in love with my one true love, soccer. Ever since I was a kid, I had watched with my parents, and I can't say that there has been another feeling such as that one. It all began when I started playing soccer at the age of 5, but officially I started playing organized soccer at the age of 10, and since then I haven't looked back. And I remember the first time going to practice, how frightened I was by my nerves, how tense I was. I was afraid of people who were going to judge the way I played, since I didn't know everything there was to soccer. My parents kept insisting that everything was going to go well. So finally we arrived to the field, and I met my first soccer coach, who would be someone vital to my progression as a player. After my first season of soccer, the coach asked me if I wanted to play for his select team, which was a team composed of only the best players from the league. I believe this was the true beginning of when I started to take soccer seriously. I then proposed that I would be the best defender the world ever saw in soccer. And I think this has to do a lot with Thorndike's law, which is the law of exercise, which is rehearsing and exercising the stimulus response connections that help strengthen them and reinforce the correct skill. So, it's like the saying that we've always heard, practice makes perfect. And that's one of the reasons I essentially became such a strong and dependent player. Then there was a law of effect. If the skill is followed by a pleasant reaction, then the stimulus response bond is further strengthened. So I think something that really helped me along the way was the support of my parents and my coaches. Whenever I would do something correct, they would always cheer me on and give me that support. That was nice to hear as a kid. And then there was the law of readiness, which means that the athlete must be both mentally and physically capable of performing the skill efficiently. So it wasn't just about practicing and hearing what you wanted to hear, but you also had to be mentally capable of keeping up in the game. I know one of the things that was harsh was when we were up and then the other team would score a goal. One had to be mindful of that, and not just for himself but for the other players as well. You had to eat the right things and drink the right things for you to be able to play a 90-minute game. So as I progressed, then after playing with Coach Rowe for 2 years, he had to retire from the team because he had to dedicate more time to his family. Completely understanding his decision, I was left without a team, and I was left with the question, what was I going to do? So after being teamless for a while, my friend had told me about this team he was practicing with and told me they could use a few extra players. I immediately thought this was perfect. I'd missed the feeling of being on a team, and I needed to start exercising again. So I remember leaving quite the impression on my first practice for the new team. They told me they liked what they saw, and I think while the time I was given of not playing soccer, I really focus on the 4 stages to Bandura's theory, which are attention, retention, motor production, and motivation. So the first one that we focus on is performers need to watch a suitable demonstration of the skill. So I consistently kept watching soccer games with my parents and consistently would watch after the game what they did right and what they did wrong, so I could better myself on the pitch. Then retention. I had to create a mental picture of the skill required. So when performing a move or performing my defensive stance, I all had to get that from attention. So it was being able to develop an image inside of my head. Then motor production, which was the physical movement to perform the skill. So back again to the law of readiness, the athlete has to be physically capable of doing something. And lastly, motivation, and that's the learner's need, want, desire to replicate the skill to action. And my motivation was simply to become the best defender. And that's my story that I have to share with you.
thing that drowns me makes me